see you again on my YouTube channel. And as you know, my name is Phùng Uyển and I am a junior faculty of foreign language in Saigon University. This video will tell you about my second field trip to the South Central Coast in the Central Highland of Vietnam in 8 days and 7 nights. This video is gonna be a little bit different from the previous because it contains interview from the local tourists about their attitude to the destination. Okay, I talk a little bit too much, so now let's get started. Let's get started. We had to be at school very early because the trip started at 5:30 a.m. Yeah, good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, and we greet new day with full energy. The weather was not so good. However, it didn't affect us from enjoying the scenery along the way. And I must admit that the scenery in Vietnam is breathtaking. Then we stopped by Cana Beach to have breakfast as well as spend some time admiring the clear sea before we proceed to our first destination, the Nha Trang Oceanography Institution. Museum of Oceanography is an inseparable part of the Institute of Oceanography along with its history of nearly a century of foundation and development. It's composed of a marine species domestication area and display area, where marine living and non-living specimens are arranged in different themes. At present, the museum is holding a collection of more than 20,000 marine specimens of scientific, communication, and educational purposes. Its aquariums is a place where a wide variety of marine species, which represent different typical ecosystems such as coral reef, seagrass bed, are domesticated and cultured. The unique and diverse marine resources of Spratly and Paracel Islands are displayed in a large area where tourists can experience a lot about the territorial water of the country, raising their public awareness about national marine resources and territorial sovereignty.
Hi, good morning. So this is the second day of our field trip and the weather looks kind of good. So we hope that it's not gonna be rain anymore.
On the next day, we arrived at our second destination, Hòn Chau. This is a complex large rock with all types shaped and overlapping run from the high bank to the sea. And don't forget to visit Five Finger Rocks if you have a chance to visit Hòn Chau. That is a strand rock with a giant five-finger dent, and there are many legends about the origin of this dent, and most is about husband and wife. Perhaps because of that, the island was named Hòn Chau. We also took some commemorative photos at this beautiful beach. And our next destination is Eo Gió in Uyển. The name says it own. Eo Gió means straight of the winds and also known as waves of winds in Vietnamese due to its curved thin mountain. Coming to this place, you appreciate the nature and its wonder. You'll love the flash of wind that's constantly flowing at you, and you will awe of the crashing wave that cause the geologic rock formation and beautiful curve of the beach. In the afternoon, we visited Hội An Ancient Town that reflect a unique cultural fusion. Hội An Old Town was listed as World Cultural Heritage by UNESCO in 1999. It is a living museum of worldwide construction, design, and urban lifestyles. From the 15th to the 20th century, Hội An was an exclusive trading port between European and Asian businessmen. This is where Chinese, Japanese, and Portuguese traders have left their vestige via diverse architectural patterns. To this day, the ancient town of Hội An in Vietnam remains not only well preserved, almost in its original state, retaining its pure and oriental medieval style. After saying goodbye to Hội An ancient town, we went to visit Ngũ Hành Sơn Mountain. Following the legend of Jam, a long time ago there was a giant dragon who flew to give birth here. After that, the dragon's egg became bigger and bigger until one day, fairies flew from the dragon's egg and their eggshell grew into 5 mystical marble mountains as people see it today. In the 19th century, Marble Mountain had been named Ngũ Hành Sơn by Minh Mạng, the second king of the Uyển dynasty. According to the theory of 5 essential elements of Eastern, including water, wood, fire, metal and earth, Vietnamese government kept its name until now and it's become a famous destination in Da Nang. The most interesting thing to see when visiting this place is the ancient Buddhist scriptures carved on the cliffs of the cave. The Buddha statues are sculpted extremely realistically, demonstrating the incredibly competent sculpting skill at that time. Our next destination is Linh Ứng Pagoda in Sơn Trà Peninsula. Linh Ứng itself means wishes answered miraculously. It means that if you pray sincerely inside the pagoda, all of your wishes might come true. The most important and visible highlight of the Linh Ứng Pagoda is the tallest Lady Buddha statue in Vietnam. It stands facing the sea, with one hand praying and the other one holding a pitcher of nectar, as if she is blessing for the fishermen. That evening, after having dinner, we spent some time to explore Da Nang and asked visitors about their impression of this city.
Mình cũng vừa mới tới Đà Nẵng được khoảng vài tháng. Mình đến đây là có những bãi biển rất là đẹp với những cái cầu rồng và cầu trạm địa lý, đi chơi rất là vui. Đi cầu rất là dài và xa, cứ một lần đi qua là tốn rất nhiều thời gian công việc mà đi qua đi lại, nên mỗi lần mình đi tới trường là cũng rất là lâu.
Là anh vừa đến đây vài tháng thôi đúng không? Vậy thì sau những cái thời gian ở vài tháng này thì anh có cảm thấy cái điều gì mà thu hút anh mà anh đặc biệt yêu thích nhất ở cái thành phố Đà Nẵng này không ạ?
Đó chính là cây cầu rồng. Tối thứ bảy và tối chủ nhật nó sẽ phun rửa phun nước, rất nóng, nóng người yêu nữa.
Rất nóng. Dạ vâng. Vậy thì nếu như mà anh có cơ hội để quay trở lại đây thì anh có lựa chọn nơi này là một cái điểm đến lý tưởng cho cái hành trình của mình không?
Có, đây là nơi mình mong muốn đến, tức là sống rất là thoải mái và kiểu yên bình với thư thả khi mà đi dạo biển, rất là thoải mái và mát mẻ, thích không khí tại nơi này.
Và nếu như mà anh đã yêu thích nơi này đến như vậy rồi thì anh có giới thiệu cái nơi này đến cho những cái người thân bạn bè của mình cùng đến đây không ạ?
Có, mình cũng hay là gọi điện thoại về cho gia đình và giới thiệu những cảnh đẹp nơi đây, có thể là mời mọi người xung quanh mình đến đây chơi với mình và đi tham quan những khu vực đó.
The next morning, we set out for our next destination, the Cry the King Cathedral in Nha Trang, which is built according to the Gothic architecture style, with character at the top of the door and the window having leaf shape and the dome having bent and pointed shaped. In present, this place put into the list of relic and beautiful South Khánh Hòa province in the list of top 10 famous cathedrals in Vietnam. Next, we visit another church in Đà Lạt, which is called Domaine de Maria Church. This place was built in 1930 with a combination of European Gothic architecture and the Indochina steel house styles.
display also organize meaningful social activities such as adopting orphans and teaching embroidery. They also display and sell the finished product, and we also bought some of the items to support them. And then we visited the railway station in Đà Lạt. The station was a bit so crowded, so we stopped by a chocolate shop on its premises to taste them before we went to interview tourists about their impressions of this place.
Như là em đã được biết thì chị đã ở đây được nửa ngày, coi như là một cái khoảng thời gian tương đối dài. Vậy thì sau khi mình trải nghiệm Đà Lạt được một cái khoảng thời gian tương đối dài như vậy thì không biết là chị cảm thấy cái điều gì thu hút chị nhất ở nơi này?
Thu hút mình nhất là thời tiết và không khí ở Đà Lạt rất là mát mẻ, mặc dù trời mùa đông lạnh ấy, nhưng mà nó không lạnh buốt, nó không cắt da cắt thịt cho mình lắm, rất là dễ chịu.
Vậy thì nếu mà chị có một cái cơ hội để đến đây lần nữa thì liệu chị có quay lại và giới thiệu cái nơi này đến những người thân, bạn bè và gia đình của mình không ạ?
Chắc chắn rồi, bởi vì là thực ra là mình ở miền Bắc thì khí hậu nó khác biệt ấy, nên là mình vào trong đây là mình cảm thấy rất là dễ chịu và rất muốn dẫn gia đình đi cùng lần nữa nếu mà mình có.
The most favorite part for me is visiting Đà Lạt Night Market and enjoying the street food in the chilly atmosphere. So our next destination was the two palaces of King Bảo Đại. These two palaces are imbued with historical imprints along with the fate of their owner, King Bảo Đại, the last king of the Uyển dynasty. Visitors can immerse themselves with the natural landscape with the unique medieval architectures, or learn more about the life of the ancient king through surviving artifacts by coming there. After enjoying the royal line the palace, we continue our journey to conquer the majestic plateau on the top of the Lambian. The feeling of standing at the top, surrounded by clouds and cold airs, is really an interesting experience in my life. That evening, we were able to participate in the Gong cultural exchange to know more about the culture of people living in the Great Central Highland of Vietnam.
Vâng, xin cảm ơn quý vị rất nhiều. Và đó là hồn chiên đêm Đại Ngàn.
We spent the last morning of our trip to visit Trúc Lâm Zen Monastery. This pagoda was built from 1993 to 1994. And it was designed with the Oriental architecture style. With a beautiful landscape, the pagoda is not only a place for meditation but also an ideal place for tourists to visit. So after the trip, not only the history and geography lessons of the destinations, but we also have the unforgettable moment in our youth.
And that is all about my trip to the South Central and Central Highlands of Vietnam. And I have to say that tourism has still played a role to develop the economic and broader local lives significantly. However, the environmental problems still exist and it is inevitable. So I hope that every visitor coming to the place will have a sense of environmental preserving so that the beautiful landscape will last forever. And that is all about my video, and now we say goodbye and see ya.